This is an organism which was known to have survived 5 different catastrophic mass extinction of species millions of years ago. Till today they are still being found in all various places, both habitable and inhabitable places on Earth's biosphere, ranging from mountaintops to the deep sea and mud volcanoes. And they are known to be the most resilient animals on Earth. This monster-like animal was first described by zoologist Johann August Ephraim Gez in 1773, who called them little water bears because of their shape and structure. In 1777, Lazaro Spallanzani named them Tardigrade, which means slow steppers. After several experiments, the slow steppers were crowned the most extreme survivor, topping penguins in the Antarctic cold, camels in the dry oven of the desert, tube worms in the abyss, and even the legendarily persistent cockroach. Extreme survivorship applies only to some species of terrestrial tardigrades. Aquatic tardigrades did not evolve these characteristics because of the stability of the aquatic environment. It appears that the excessive survival adaptations had been selected in direct response to rapidly changing terrestrial microenvironments of damp flora subject to rapid drying and extreme weather. In 2007, after surviving the exposure to harsh and deadly radiation, heat and space vacuum, tardigrades became the first multicellular animal to survive exposure to the lethal environs of the outer space. Tardigrades had been experimentally subjected to temperatures of 0.05 kelvins, which is equivalent to -272.95 degrees Celsius, for 20 hours, then warmed, rehydrated, and returned to active life. They have been stored at temperature of -200 degrees Celsius for 20 months, and they have survived. The big question is, how do they survive those deadly conditions? According to research, it was found that this tardigrade uses different adaptation techniques to respond to different environmental stress they are subjected to. In many conditions, they survive by going into an almost death-like state called cryptobiosis. During cryptobiosis, they curl into a dehydrated ball, called a tun, by retracting their head and legs. If reintroduced to water, the tardigrade can come back to life in just a few hours. Anhydrobiosis, a form of cryptobiosis in which metabolic suspension is brought on by nearly complete desiccation. Tardigrade use this technique in responding to high drying conditions, and is a common state for tardigrades, which they may enter several times a year. To survive the transition, tardigrade must dry out very slowly. The tun forms, as the animal retracts its legs and head, and curls into a ball, which minimizes its surface area. When nearly all of its internal water has been surrendered, the tardigrade is in an abiosis, a dry state of suspended animation. It is almost as if the animal preserves itself by becoming a powder comprised of the ingredients of life. When rehydrated by dew, rain, or melting snow, tardigrades can return to their active state in a few minutes to a few hours. In cryobiosis, another form of cryptobiosis used in responding to freezing conditions, the animal undergoes freezing yet can be revived. Any temperature below the cell cytoplasm's freezing point, it suppresses molecular mobility and therefore, suspends metabolism. Deep freeze temperatures could be expected to cause additional structural disruptions, yet tardigrades, as noted above, have survived the most drastic chills. It seems likely that survival is conferred by the release or synthesis of cryoprotectants. These agents may manipulate tissue freezing temperature, slowing the process and, allowing an orderly transition into cryobiosis, and they may suppress the nucleation of ice crystals, resulting in an ice crystal form that is favorable for subsequent revival with thawing. Osmobiosis, a cryptobiosis technique, used in response to extreme salinity, which can cause destructive osmotic swelling. Some tardigrades exhibit strikingly effective osmoregulation, maintaining stasis, in the face of steep osmotic gradients. Some others escape via the formation of a ton, that is impervious to osmotic transfer. Yet another example of tardigrades' ability to survive in extreme environments, was discovered by researchers at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, in October 2020. The team found that a new species of tardigrade they were studying, Paramacrobiotis species, is capable of protecting itself from a potentially lethal blast of ultraviolet radiation, by forming a protective glowing shield. They simply absorb the harmful UV radiation, and then emit it as harmless blue light. Tardigrades are not considered extremophilic because, they are not adapted to exploit these harsh conditions, they can only endure them. This means that their chances of dying increases the longer they are exposed to the extreme environments. Nevertheless, tardigrades are considered the toughest animal as they have been able to endure and survive different extreme conditions, which had killed or can kill many animal species. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing for more entertaining and educative videos. When last did you see them? Have you ever wondered why and how they produce their fascinating light? That is another topic for another day on Species Wonder.